I bet you clicked on this video because you thought, hey, it might be kind of cool to see how a student pilot studies for a test. Well, hey, fair warning. It's not going to be the most fun thing. But before you just move on to another video, consider just staying and hanging out. Maybe just grab some popcorn and play it in the background. You know, support your favorite YouTuber. That's me, by the way. This document that I will be reading through today is a bunch of information on the oral tests. So it's really just going to be a lot of questions that the DPE is very, very likely to ask. Also, take note that there is a lot I skipped through. This video took me way too long to edit. Like, there was a couple of times where I just got home from work and fell asleep while editing. It was a fun project, but I need a video and you guys are here to watch, right? Awesome. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. What type of private certificate do you have and does it expire? The student, I believe, expires. I want to say 3 years, maybe 2 years, but student pilot certificate expires after 60 calendar months. Under 40. 60 calendar months. That's 5 years, I think. Hey, Alexa. How many years is 60 months?
60 months equals 5 years.
Look at me. Wow. Over 40, it expires after 24 months, so 2 years. PPL, or private pilot license, or CPL, commercial pilot license, and CFI, commercial, actually, I'm not sure what that completely stands for, but it's instrument flying, ground instructor. And ATP certificates are issued without an expiration. Is it asking or telling me? I must have lost my place. How do we keep our private certificate current? You have to take a test. Oh, poop. What is it? I want to say every 2 years as a private pilot. Or it might have been 2 years as a student pilot. All this information, by the way, is all information that is going to be pretty relevant in the oral part of the check ride. So that's why I'm reading through this. Okay. I didn't realize exactly what I was asking then. Private pilot flight review every 24 calendar months, 2 years, like I said. What are the currency requirements for a flight carrying passengers? You must have 3 takeoff and landings. They can be touch and goes during the day. At night, they have to be full stop takeoff and landings within 90 days. I just read the little part, and yeah, I did know that. I just never said that. But yeah, 3 takeoff and landings within the past 90 days of an aircraft of the same category and class and type. At night, these landings must be full stops. Cool. How long is a medical certificate valid for? There's 3 different kinds of medical certificates. A third class. Okay, there's 4 kinds. There's a basic med, third class, second class, first class. Forget about for basic med for now because I don't want to answer that one. Third class, is it 5 years? I think it's 5 years for a third class under 60. And then below 60, that time cuts in half to 3 years. For a second class, I think it's every 2 years if you're under 60, and then it goes to 1 year. And then a first class, I believe it's every year, or I believe it stays 2 years maybe. Oh shoot. Hang on, let's see. Let me just go to my 4am because that's gonna have it. Start with the third class. Okay, the third class medical is good for 60 months, 5 years, over the age of 40. And I thought it was 60 for some reason, but evidently it's 40. Over the age of 40, it's only good for 24 calendar months, 2 years. For a second class under the age of 40, 60 calendar months still, and then 24. And then for a first class, it expires after 12. Oh, I didn't realize this, but if you have different ratings while having, yeah, it looks like if you have different ratings while having that medical, it expires at different times. I did not know that. Wow, and what's crazy, I've opened to this page several times. What documents should be in the aircraft before flight? Weight and balance. Some planes will have a separate weight and balance sheet, but mine's in the POH. But the POH stays in the plane. You need the airworthiness certificate, registration, obviously the POH. Those are the 3 big ones. Airworthiness, registration, radio license, required for instrument flight, which mine is not. Operating limitations, that's in my POH, and weight and balance, which is also in my POH. When will an aircraft registration certificate expire? 3 years. Editor Tommy here. Hey, so I said 3 years, but this document isn't completely up to date. Back in about January of 2023, they made a update where it's actually 7 years, not 3 years. Hopefully that's the only information that isn't completely up to date. But if you guys find something else in the video, please leave a comment. I don't want to be consuming old information. All right, back to the video. With respect to the certification privileges and limitations of an airman, what category, class, and type mean? What do they mean? Category. This is more of the broad spectrum. You got rotorcraft, that would be helicopters. You got lightweight balloons, regular propeller planes, and jets. Class would be multi-engine or land or sea or yada 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 yada. And type is your exact plane. So for instance, mine would be a airplane, then it'd be single engine, then it would be a Cessna 150. If a pilot changes his permanent mailing address, how long does the pilot have to continue exercise the privileges of a pilot certificate? 30 days. Does airworthiness certificate expire? No. Who says we have to follow the POA? If my instructor asked me this, I would say the FAR-AM. And if he said, well, why do we follow the FAR-AM? I was like, well, we need something to follow in aviation. We're all just going to do our own thing. For a little bit of context, the FAR-AM is kind of like the Bible of aviation. FAR 91.9 states, no person may operate in civil aircraft without complying with the operating limitations specified in approved airplane or rotorcraft flight manual. So the flight manual. I think my answer was pretty good. Who is responsible for ensuring an aircraft is maintained in airworthy condition? Owner and operator. Aviates required inspections. So, okay, before we go down there and look down all of those, refer to the FAR-AM. I forgot the exact FAR, but I do have it checkmarked, which you can look at during your test, which is very handy. 91.205. It's better to have the FAR-AM because it's gonna have a lot more things in here than there is just in the Aviates. Aviates is a very basic acronym for just a couple of key things. But like the V in Aviates, that's for VOR and that's for instrument only. Can you fly over an annual 100 hour? The answer is yes, kind of. I need a ferry permit. Maybe I'm not getting the question. The only way you could fly over an annual is to obtain a special flight permit from the FSDO. A special flight permit is the same thing as a ferry permit. 100-hour inspection may be flown over no more than 10 hours, only en route to the place where you can fly 10 hours over if you're en route to the place where you're going to get the 100-hour inspected at, which I did not know. Do you have to have an ELT in the airplane today? Not needed for training within 50 nautical miles of home airport. I did not know that. What does an ELT battery have to be reported? What does an ELT battery have to be replaced or what? What does an ELT battery have to be replaced or recharged? When? Oh, when? Oh boy. But if half its useful battery life has been used, it has to be replaced. If it's been used for 1 cumulative hour, it has to be replaced. If it hasn't been replaced for 1 or 2 years, it needs to be replaced. What would you do if you found that the landing light was inoperative? When am I finding out that it's inoperative? Like, I'm assuming when I'm doing the pre-flight, that the answer would be the plane would be unairworthy, so I couldn't fly it, and I have to get it fixed. I mean, okay, yes, that's true. The whole plane is completely unairworthy because that component is not working, even though you only need it for night flight, and it does specifically say that you only need it for night flight in here. I wish. Let me do some research real quick. Cannot fly at night per the FARs. During the day, you could deactivate or remove the component. That's right. Okay. That's okay. Okay. I'm glad it pointed that out because that's the only caveat. You can label it as inoperative and deactivate or remove the component, or have someone deactivate or remove it, and placard inoperative. It could be super simple fix. It could be pulling a breaker. It could be something more complicated. If it is more complicated, you're gonna have to usually get a mechanic. And again, in the FAR-AM, it'll tell you what you can and can't do for preventive maintenance. But we're not there right now, so all this talking is getting my throat dry, which doesn't usually happen. I don't know why it's happening right now. Performance limitations. What are the 4 forces of flight? I made a video on this if you guys remember, or if you guys even watched. What is used to cool the engine? Oil, and air. Why do we need oil in the engine? It keeps everything lubricated, it keeps it from getting corroded, and it keeps it cool. Lubrication cools, seals. It creates a seal between the cylinders, walls, and pistons, okay? And cleans. What is meant by 4 strokes? I don't know. Unless it's talking about how the engine works, like when it, well, let's read. Yes, okay, it is. Okay, so before I cheat and look at the thing, gas squirts in. Okay, let me restart. All right, a little bit of a makeshift thing we got here, but say this is our cylinder, say this is our piston. So this starts in here like this, it comes out, it fuel is injected into here, then this pushes in and compresses. There's a little spark plug in here that's going to ignite, and then it's going to depress this. Depress isn't the right word, is it? I don't know. You guys let me know. Then as it's coming out, it's going to be releasing all the old gas that had just exploded. Oh, look at that! A visual aid right here. What does the mixture controller do? The mixture is the little red knob that you see in my plane, and you can push and pull it. It's right next to the power. It controls how much fuel slash air ratio you're putting into the engine. So like when you're tanking off, you're going to want to have full rich mixture. It's going to be all the way in. It's going to be the most amount of mixture being pushed into your engine. Cruise, you're going to pull it back a little bit just to let it smooth out, because you're not pushing the plane as hard. Taxing, you pull it out 1 inch 2. That's how that works. As we gain altitude, air becomes less dense. If we don't make any adjustments, then we will have a extremely rich fuel slash air mixture. This can result in carbon buildup in the cylinders, which can foul the spark plugs and reduce engine power. What color is 100 low lead? 100 low lead is the fuel that we use in these small aircrafts. It is blue. How about other types of fuel? Like jet fuel, I'm assuming he's talking about. What happens when they are mixed together? I have no idea. Jet fuel, I want to say is green. Could be wrong about that, but I'm sure it'll show us in a second. Okay, I was wrong. So avgas 80. I'm not sure what the 80 means, but that's red? Interesting. 100 avgas, that's green, and 100 low lead is blue. Low lead is what I use. These sound familiar, but I don't know what those are. I will read it up on those in just a minute. And then Jet A, what jets use for fuel, is colorless. Why do you drain a sample before each flight regarding fuel? To get any debris or dirt or water out of it. What are the different types of special use aerospace? Okay, there are restricted. I think I'm thinking of TFR, okay, I know what else. Okay, I know what I was trying to think. So you got restricted areas and MOAs, military operating areas. Those are the 2 big ones that usually get hit on. There is also alert areas, prohibited areas, and controlled firing areas. What pre-flight action is required by the FARs? NOTAMs, weather, known ATC delay, runway length, all train, fuel, takeoff and landing distance. What is a NOTAM? A NOTAM is a notice to air mission. It is just information specifically linked with weather. Notice to airmen. Okay, my bad. Airmen. Where can I find runway links? This is actually something I think I talked about before. You can, oh my. You're always going to be able to find them on sectional charts. Right next to the runway, there's going to be a little 2-digit number. It's going to tell you how long the runway is. For instance, if it was 5'3", that would be 5,300 feet of runway. You can find it in the chart supplement, which chart supplement's going to have a bunch of different information about a airport. And so that's a really good place to look. What is the maximum airspeed below 10,000 MSL? It is 2,050 knots. No, it is 250 knots. Define minimum safe altitude. That is, there's a couple rules when it comes to this. For non-busy areas, I believe it's 500 feet above the highest obstacle in that area, and above populated areas, it's 1,000. What limitations apply to VORs? VORs are kind of like a low-budget GPS. A little complicated to explain if I'm explaining it. So VORs are limited by their power output. Service volumes range from 25 nautical miles to 130 nautical miles, depending on class of VOR and altitude of aircraft. VORs also operate off the line of sight principle. This means that if there is terrain between the aircraft and the station, the signal may not be received. Okay, no, we're done here. I'm not editing one more second of this. Oh, but real quick, if you guys are seeing this on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving!